Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we have an interesting issue that has raised the worldwide community's interest. Prepare to be surprised as we plunge into the surprising turn of events surrounding Afghanistan's largest mega canal projects that stun China and America. Afghanistan is really developing, but more innovation will help out. Let's embark on this interesting journey together as we uncover the amazing story of Afghanistan's canal mega projects. We will discover the fascinating considerations that inspired these major projects as we dig into the fascinating world of the makers. Join us as we examine and know if there is more to this story. Join us on this journey, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned to discover the reality behind this. Afghanistan-China relations have been mainly favorable throughout history, with commercial links extending back to at least the Hunt period in the lucrative Silk Route. Both nations now have embassies in Beijing and Kabul, respectively. In the two countries, China has a long history of involvement in Central Asia and will play a significant role in molding Afghanistan's future. Afghanistan now poses a mix of opportunities and challenges for China. Terrorism, extreme Islam, and drug trafficking pose danger to China's domestic security, while Afghanistan's abundant natural riches and strategic location between Central and South Asia make it a potentially attractive target for Chinese investment. Although competing for regional dominance has led to mutual distrust, the two nations have a strategic interest in maintaining governments combating terrorism and fostering economic growth in Central Asia, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Between October and December 2001, China did not take part in US and NATO efforts to depose the Taliban. Despite China's inherent interest in the country's long-term security, the Chinese leadership affirmed that it would neither make any obligations to ISAF nor send combat troops to Afghanistan. Senior PLA commanders, on the other hand, recently suggested that the Chinese military may potentially back a UN-mandated peacekeeping force in Afghanistan. Chinese peacekeeping deployment to Afghanistan would be consistent with China's historical commitments to UN operations, which have not involved combat soldiers. Engineers, including mining specialists, medical units, and civilian police, were mentioned as the types of security aid deployments that the Chinese military might support. Since the establishment of the modern nation of Afghanistan in 1709, relations have been variously positive or tense. But in recent history, they have been more friendly, including during the majority of the 20th century, with China extending economic aid and multi-million-dollar loans to develop Afghanistan during the early Cold War period. After the Sino-Soviet divide and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, the USSR installed pro-Soviet and anti-Chinese administrations in Afghanistan. This partnership was momentarily shattered, however, following the withdrawal of Soviet soldiers and the ensuing détente of Soviet and Russian-Chinese relations. China-Afghan relations have improved dramatically in the 21st century. Since the United States invaded Afghanistan, China's political involvement has been limited, but trade relations have continued, with China remaining Afghanistan's largest trading partner. China has provided millions of dollars in aid throughout the war. China's influence and diplomatic presence in Afghanistan have grown over the years, and China may be able to assist in negotiating peace in the war-torn country. China, like all other countries as of 2023, does not recognize the re-established Islamic Emirate after the Taliban reclaimed control of the country in 2021. The Taliban authorities have begun publicizing a new canal under development in Afghanistan's northern parts. A new YouTube video shows sparkling diggers rushing over sand dunes, and employees from many ethnic groups toiling together. According to the Islamist regime, 5,500 workers are working on the project around the clock, utilizing almost 3,300 pieces of machinery. The Kosh-Tepa Canal, when finished, will transport water from the Amu Darya River for agriculture. The river, once known as the Oxus, begins in Afghanistan and Tajikistan, flows into Uzbekistan, and is one of Central Asia's longest. The Taliban anticipates that the initiative will convert 550,000 hectares of desert into much-needed cropland. The canal is a significant test of the Taliban's capacity to rule amidst much horrible news from Afghanistan, including the imminent destitution of nearly its entire 40 million inhabitants. Many people doubt their capacity to implement this project. National Development Corporation CEO Abdul Rahman Attach stated, "We will demonstrate that Afghanistan can stand up its economy and carry out national projects on its own." The Taliban is building the Kosh-Tepa Canal in northern Afghanistan to divert water from the Amu Darya. The canal is anticipated to be 285 kilometers long. The canal's construction is expected to begin in March 2022. Uzbekistan is concerned that the canal would have a negative impact on its agriculture by diverting water from the Amu Darya. The canal is projected to exacerbate the Aral Sea disaster. Nonetheless, in 2023, Uzbek authorities met with Taliban representatives to discuss the Kosh-Tepa Canal. The plan is supposed to transform 550,000 hectares of desert into agriculture. According to the Taliban has prioritized the construction of the Kosh-Tepa Canal. Independent specialists and engineers have expressed doubt about the project, claiming that the Taliban lacks the know-how to finish the canal successfully and that financing the project would be difficult because no foreign donor is ready to finance it. Afghanistan has not signed any regional or international treaties governing the use of the region's transboundary waterways. The waters of the Amu Darya were divided among the four Central Asian republics of Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Kyrgyzstan, but Afghanistan was left out. The Taliban has claimed that the country has a right to use the Amu Darya's waters. Water sharing of the Amu Darya. Although prior Amu Darya treaties had been established between the Soviet Union and the Kabul administration dating back to 1946, these accords never explicitly addressed the subject of water sharing of the Amu Darya. Later accords such as the post-Soviet Amu Darya Agreement never included Afghanistan as a signatory in any water use discussions in the basin. Without a clear understanding in Kabul or in any Central Asian nation of Afghanistan's rights to the Amu Darya's waters, the region's governments can only rely on the current agreement governing the basin, the Amu Darya Agreement. It is based on water allocation divisions that were originally envisioned in the Soviet-era Protocol 566, which only assumed that Afghanistan would divert 2.1 billion cubic meters, far less than the potential 10 billion that the Kosh-Tepa Canal could divert. The Uzbek delegation's pledges of collaboration with regard to international principles are not a conciliatory statement. They provide a strong message that the Kosh-Tepa Canal is impossible under the existing regulatory system managing the Amu Darya.